as well in preparation for potential flooding this spring and to bring everything back up to the standard it was in before the event. Our focus is shifting now. We maintain strong effort in the levee rehabilitation program. That's the major work we have, but we're also looking forward now to the spring and potential flooding then. We've had the commanders come in, sit down and address what programs they're taking in their particular regions. And we're looking at expediting as much as possible the levee rehabilitation program, both the initial repairs and the final repairs that Dr. Stearns referred to. We're monitoring very closely the weather forecasts and rainfall and optimizing the management of our flood control structures, the dams and reservoirs in the area to ensure that we're all ready for spring. We're restocking our supply of sandbags, making sure that pumps and everything are available in case something happens this spring. We're continuing to work very closely and maintain good contact with the local, state, and other federal agencies that we've worked so well with here, so that if something does happen in the spring, we can pick up and hit the ground running hard. And then we're finally working hard to educate the local populace in what they can do and should be doing now to prepare for flood events and how to get into that program. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Next, Don Collins, who is the acting administrator of the National Flood Insurance Program.
Hey, thank you, Maureen, and good afternoon. The FEMA's administration of the National Flood Insurance Program is through a direct program of flood insurance issued by FEMA and through arrangements with some 86 private sector property insurance companies, of which there were probably 20 or so in the 9 affected states. In addition, the policies are marketed through the American agency force, insurance agents and brokers. Oh, there are probably over 100,000 of them on our books, and we use several thousand independent loss adjustment organization hires to adjust our losses. At the beginning of the severe flooding, we had about 84,000 policies in force in the affected states, and over time that policy count rose to about 116,000. So people were buying insurance as the floodwaters moved downstream. It signaled to us early on that we'd have some immediate needs to handle in terms of adjusting our policy language. One provision we took care of is that people are required to get their renewal premiums in to renew their policies within 30 days of getting their notice of renewal. Well, obviously, we knew that people could not even get into their buildings, let alone find their checkbook and issue checks. So we extended that period of getting renewal premiums until December 15 to give people ample time to get their premiums to the company or to the federal government. In addition, the policy language calls for people to perfect their claims and file a proof of loss within 60 days of the occurrence of the loss. Well, again, there's no way people could have done that. So similarly, we extended the time for filing proofs of loss. There have been no problems with people getting their premiums in, and no one has been denied their claim because the proof of loss came in late. I think that's very important because we need to help people and deliver service. Another thing that came to us early on was that people would have a need for money, and it's typical. We instruct all the companies to make sure they make advances to people. To pay, when they know they're going to pay a certain amount of damage, to pay a portion of the loss early to get people working and getting their homes and business back in order. We opened up a flood insurance claim office in St. Louis early on, and there we began to monitor the losses and to pay the claims. To date, we received about almost 12,000 claims. We've paid out, I would say as of today, somewhere in the neighborhood of $220 million. We probably have closed about 85% of our claims. That is the companies and the National Flood Insurance Program for its direct program. The flood insurance claim office is still open, and we have no immediate plans to close that because there's still a need out there to be met. The average paid loss now ranges in the neighborhood of almost $26,000, which is comparable to the average paid loss we paid in South Carolina in Hurricane Hugo. That one topped the charts at about $31,000. Reason being, these are very severe losses, as you all know, just looking at the coverage of this event. And I think they made a pretty good track record in terms of closing the claims because of the claims' severity. I mean, your average fire loss or your average wind loss will be in the low to middle four figures, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for that kind of peril, whereas these flood losses were quite complicated, and the justice had to go back 2 and 3 times to verify the damages and make sure that the claim payment was proper. The claims that remain probably have to deal with heavy commercial losses and serious coverage questions and issues like that. So I think that we're on track, and we hope to have a good result. We haven't had many complaints.
Thank you, Don. Just want to make a note that the Housing and Urban Development Department it will be having an announcement tomorrow. Secretary Cisneros will probably announce sometime in the during the day the remainder of the $200 million supplemental for CDBG grants. $75 million has already gone out, and that'll be the $125 million would be the remainder of the $200 million that was earmarked for that. And the details will come from HUD, and that will be tomorrow. They asked me to give you a heads up on that now. I want to tell you that the federal family has truly worked in a remarkable way, both during the response and during the initial recovery. And this group of people is just an example of the teamwork that has been in place since the floodwaters began rolling down the Mississippi. And we have a lot more information that will be coming. And someone asked a little while ago if there was some handouts, some print material that we can provide. We don't today, but we will very soon. Collating and gathering all of this information in a rapidly changing environment is a task that is what we would give you today would be old news by the time you hit the press. But probably within the next week or two, we'll have some printed material, some handouts that outlines a lot of this. We have a short time, 10 minutes or so, for some questions to the panel. If anybody has some. Yes, sir.
Several people discussed levee repairs. I just wanted to ask for a clarification. I don't know which individual might be able to answer this. What is the distinction in resources available for private levee repairs, specifically north of Cairo, Illinois, on the Mississippi?
I think when you look at the levee situation, the thing you have to realize is under the policy which has been developed, we are developing areas of responsibility. Again, the Soil Conservation Service responsibility is primarily on the upland watersheds, the smaller levees, the agricultural levees. They would not be the main stem levees, which is responsibility of the Corps of Engineers. To give you some idea there, basically of the 641 applications we have got in the upland areas, 246 of them are eligible or have been eligible. We have completed work or are working on about 180 more, and they are contracted and underway. And we have only 67 which we have not started work on. In fact, we feel we're in excellent shape, but this does not say that does not answer all the questions on some of the secondary levees within the Missouri Valley itself. We anticipate that our number could jump quite a bit based upon the determination of areas of responsibility.
And to what extent is the department financially supporting these efforts?
Financially, we have all our dollars obligated. To date, we have spent about $4.5 million, and we anticipate we will be able to spend probably another $4 of the dollars that are allocated out. We do not anticipate we will have adequate funds to do all repairs.
And it's all private?
Yes.
Larry, how many communities has FEMA approved for the buyout program? When you first explained it in a teleconference call a couple weeks ago, you had mentioned 3.
We have probably about 60 or 70 communities that are in various stages of preparing applications and providing them to the states, and these applications are working through the system. Some of them we're in the process of doing some preliminary analysis on. and I can't give you a specific number on that. In terms of actual grant approvals, we've had 2 projects that have been specifically approved, the one in Springfield, Minnesota that I indicated, and one in Des Moines. And the one in Des Moines is probably a partial project. We're expecting some additional interest from the city of Des Moines in our program. So those are the only 2 specifically that we have. One of them's probably a partial, and we have probably another 100 or so that are in various stages of the process, some closer to approval than others.
You mentioned the one over the weekend, like for Valmeyer, for example. That,
Yeah.
I mean,
Valmeyer is one of those that's in that developmental stage. They have what we call a pre-application in, which is basically a notice of interest, and we're working with them right now in looking at the site that they're going to relocate to and doing some assessments of the impacts of that and collecting information on all the homeowners and trying to identify just the scope of the project so we have some idea of what it's going to cost. But we're running through all of that right now. We expect their final application to be completed after the first of the year sometime.
Is Valmeyer the only city in the Midwest that has applied for a full relocation of the entire town?
There are 1 or 2 others. There's a little town called Rhineland, Missouri, which I'm aware of, that is talking about moving the entire town. It's about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than Valmeyer. And those are exceptions rather than rule. The majority of them are just portions of the community that will be relocating. There's another one in Illinois just upriver from Valmeyer called Grafton, Illinois, which is looking at relocation on a partial basis, but it's an historic community, and the historic portion of the community is probably not going to be relocated. So there's a variety is the full range of types of projects. The ones that involve a full community moving are going to be very limited in number.
What's the status of the Rhineland application right now, Rhineland, Missouri?
Based upon my conversation with the planning director that I had about 2 weeks ago, they're still in the process of formulating that application and working with the state on getting their application and documentation together.
Iowa seemed to have a lot of trouble getting their paperwork done and getting money out to applicants. Did you people see that back here at headquarters, and what did you do to help them?
We have worked very closely through our disaster field office in Des Moines to offer assistance to the state of Iowa in getting their funding out through the individual family grant program, and I believe that it's going out much faster now.
Do you have any final figures on how many acres were lost for corn and soybeans in the Midwest?
We still haven't got a final tally, but there was several million acres that was affected. I would say that in the neighborhood of 2 million acres were actually totally lost, and then many more acres that we had low yields on. We're in the process of making that final assessment, and it'll be later after the first of the year before we get that final assessment.
Can I ask one more question? With the set-aside being lowered to 0, would that help make up the shortfall from this year?
Well, that certainly will not make up the entire shortfall, but by reducing from 5% down to 0, that would likely bring on another 200 million bushels of production. This year's crop was 31% short of a year ago.
Mr. Wehri, I think you said in Wetlands Reserve you've gotten 150 applications so far for 30 million of assistance. How much do you have available to give out?
Okay, under the program, we have available $15 million for the initial request. We do anticipate, and indications are that requests will far exceed the amount of dollars which we have available. That $15 million is 1/4 of the dollars which we received under the supplemental program.
We have time for, I think, 2 more questions.
Mr. Weber, what do you anticipate the difference between the deficiency payments and the the advanced deficiency payments? How much do you expect to have to be made up later?
The advanced deficiency payments on corn were 36 cents a bushel. Right now, it would appear that that level might fall below 30 cents. We're still working on the first 5 months, which includes market prices September through January. So it looks as though there'll be close to a 6 to 10 cent repayment of advance payments.
How much total is that?
That total will equal approximately $460 million.
Mr. Collins, are there legislative proposals that FEMA will bring to Congress next year to change the flood insurance program? Are there things FEMA can do administratively, has done?
Well, there already is a reform bill, if you will, on the Senate side, the Kerry bill, the Senate Bill 1405. And that will help us with tightening up on the compliance by federally related lending institutions in obtaining flood insurance when they extend, for example, mortgage loans. FEMA does not regulate the lenders, obviously, and the lenders are not required to escrow the flood premiums, nor are they required to review their mortgage portfolios to see whether, when they close a loan, they should have gotten flood insurance but did not. The Kerry bill will require the escrowing of flood insurance premiums of lenders who are escrowing for other purposes, such as your homeowners. It will also encourage the lenders to review their mortgage portfolios and do just that, require the insurance if they missed it the first time around. In addition, loans closed by non-federally regulated lenders under the Kerry bill, they will, if they're going to be sold to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, they will have to obtain the flood insurance or the sale won't go through. So there are some very good strengthenings on the compliance side of the insurance purchase in the Kerry bill. In addition, the bill presents a mitigation insurance program whereby we can cover the cost of elevating, for example, elevating buildings that have been damaged to 50% of their pre-flood event value. Under the rules in local communities, these buildings have to be elevated so that their lowest floor is at or above the base flood level if they have that 50% damage. We have been unable to pay for it because our statute doesn't authorize it. The Kerry bill contains such provisions. We can collect the premium, we can spread the risk, and over time get a lot of these buildings out of the floodplain or elevate them above or even relocate them. Some very good provisions in that bill, and that's what we're working with right now, trying to see if that bill can.
Thank you, Don. That's about all we're going to have time for. I just want to thank everybody for coming today, and disaster coverage is a little different than any other kind of coverage, and I want to thank everybody for helping us communicate a lot of the really important information to your listeners, viewers, and readers. It's a partnership in communications too. Thank you.
Louisa County.